boy Ced Banner, and I'm back. This is my review of Night School. So this is my first review after a while. I've been on my yearly hiatus. I always take a break at the end of the summer. Went a little longer than usual this year. But of course, most people know I usually go hard in the theater every year from the beginning of the year, and then we have the spring films, and then we have, of course, summer, and I'm there every week, sometimes twice a week. So at the end of the summer, I just take a little bit of a break. I figured I started back with a laugh, and of course, we just had this big release of the comedy Night School starring Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, two comedians who are at the top of their game. Kevin Hart has been there for several years now, a lot longer than I expected, just to be quite honest. Tiffany Haddish, of course, who really took flight and blew up after the huge success last summer, Girls Trip, is directed by African-American or Black director Malcolm D. Lee, who's been on quite a run. He directed Best Man Holiday, which came out, I believe, a couple of years ago now. It's the sequel, of course, to the popular Best Man, which came out back in like '99, I think. For a sequel to come out that long after the original or the first installment, it's not usual for the sequel to be good or successful, but director Malcolm D. Lee really kind of beat the odds with that, and he created a film that I really loved, I really enjoyed. And then, of course, last year it was a hit, and I believe it was kind of a surprise that it was such a big hit, so much so that I recently heard the announcement that they are making a sequel, and that was Girls Trip, which also starred Tiffany Haddish, and like I said, that's the film that really kicked her career off, or in a high gear anyway. But Malcolm D. Lee has done a great job with his films. Now, anyone who follows my reviews and my thoughts on film, I've always complained that when it comes to predominantly black film coming from black filmmakers and starring black actors, I have a huge complaint that too often our films lean on these overplayed and tired stereotypes and cliches, and just really get too goofy for me. Tyler Perry. But so it really, I guess you would say, excites me and pleases me that we have a black director out here that's kind of going against the grain and just showing, regular people and regular everyday situations, and they just happen to be black. I really love it. Let's jump right into it here. I mean, when you hear that film stars Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, you pretty much know what to expect. This is a comedy. Night School does not have a deep or intricate plot, so there are no surprises here. Don't expect any twists or a film to be deeper than what you're expecting. You're not going to get it. This film plays through exactly how you'd expect. It's a very basic plot, a very basic comedy. It pretty much just leans on the wits and I think the ad-libs, because I don't really feel like a lot of this was scripted, but the ad-libs and talents of the comedians that are acting in this film. Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart, I think, do a great job playing off of each other. I will say that, it kind of depends on where you stand as far as each comedian's comedy and their style. As far as Kevin Hart goes, he's always been funny to me. My problem is in every film he's in, though, he's just Kevin Hart. He's given a different name. He's playing a different role, but he's still just Kevin Hart. And it's no different here. With Tiffany Haddish, I thought she was hilarious in Girls Trip. Loved her in this film. She wasn't really given as much of an opportunity to really shine and be her or do her. She did a decent job, but when it comes to the laughs in this film, I'd say that very few of them had anything to do with her, unfortunately. I think what really made Night School work overall, and where most of the majority of the laughs came from, was the supporting cast, which really surprised me, and I actually enjoyed that. I grew up really loving Saturday Night Live. There are a couple of faces here from Saturday Night Live's cast in the past that show up here. There's a small role played by rapper Fat Joe Bobby, who's actually in prison, and he's taken the Night School over a Skype cam. I thought he did a pretty good job as well. My personal favorite, there were two of them. There is the principal at the high school, who is played by Taron Killam, who is one of those SNL alums I'm talking about. He does a great job. He's very funny to me. He's one of those people who's just hilarious without really trying to be. He's just naturally funny. And then also there's a character in the night class played by Romani Malco, who I thought did an awesome job. He plays this character who's one of those ultra super over woke people. We all have at least one or two on our friend list, that just takes everything too far, makes everything much deeper than what it is. He plays that guy, and he kills it, I think. He has some very funny one-liners. I really enjoyed him in this film. Through this film is pretty solid. There are, and let me go ahead and go to my cons. My only cons in the film is that there are probably some jokes that fall flat and just seem pretty corny. I don't think you can really avoid that in a full-fledged or full-blown comedy. But I didn't feel like there were enough, or they weren't bad enough to ruin the film or negatively affect it overall. Also, I felt like towards the end of the film, the plot did become a little rushed. Of course, comedies can't run too long, so I kind of expected that, and once again, it didn't really ruin the film for me. Yeah, and that's it. Once again, props to director Malcolm D. Lee. I just really love the work he's doing, and I look forward to seeing more work from him in the future. I like his style, and I like what he's doing with film, with black film, and with comedy. So, my rating for Night School is... it is a solid comedy. I mean, it's a very basic film, a very basic plot, with a lot of laughs. So I'll give it a very basic rating. And that's really all I can say about it. If you want a good date night film, a film just kind of go and get away and laugh for a couple of hours, this is a good film to do that. I definitely don't think you will feel like you wasted your money by going to the theater to see it. So that concludes this review. My next review will be very soon with whatever the hell I see next. I don't know. I'm getting back in the groove now, getting out of my hiatus. But we have a lot of big releases coming up over the next 2 to 3 months. So yeah, stay with me. So until my next review, hey.